Thursday night, the news hit fast, and it hit hard. Kyle Busch, the driver everyone in NASCAR knew, the man fans loved, hated, and could never look away from, was gone at just 41 years old. If you have been a NASCAR fan for any part of the last 20 years, you knew Kyle. You knew the number 18 car. You knew the number 8. You knew that smirk in victory lane. And now, like the rest of us, you are trying to understand how a driver who was racing last weekend is suddenly not here anymore. Let's walk through what happened, what fans are saying, and how the racing world is saying goodbye. It started Thursday morning. The Busch family put out a short message on Kyle's X account. They said Kyle was in the hospital with a severe illness. He was going to miss Sunday's Coca-Cola 600 inches Charlotte. Fans were worried, but most of them figured he would be fine. Kyle was tough. Kyle always came back. But Thursday evening, the news everyone was hoping not to hear came out. NASCAR, Richard Childress Racing, and the Busch family all confirmed it together. Kyle Busch had passed away. He was 41. The cause has not been shared yet. NASCAR's official statement was short, but it said everything. We are saddened and heartbroken to share the news of the passing of Kyle Busch, a two-time Cup champion and one of our sport's greatest and fiercest drivers. The longer statement from the NASCAR family was even harder to read. They called Kyle a future Hall of Famer and a rare talent, one who comes along once in a generation. They said he was fierce, he was passionate, and he cared deeply about the sport and the fans. And they made sure to mention his wife Samantha, his 11-year-old son Brexton, his 4-year-old daughter Lennox, his parents, and his brother Kurt. Now, before we get into how fans and drivers are reacting, let's quickly remember who Kyle was on the track, because the numbers are honestly hard to believe. Kyle made his Cup Series debut back in 2004 at Las Vegas, his home track. His first full Cup season came in 2005. From there, he never left. He won the Cup Series championship 2 times, in 2015 and in 2019. He won 63 Cup races. That puts him 9th on the all-time wins list. 9th. Out of every driver who has ever raced in NASCAR's top series, but that is just the Cup numbers. When you add up all his wins across the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Truck Series, Kyle has more wins than anybody, ever. Nobody else is close. He drove for Hendrick Motorsports, then Joe Gibbs Racing for a long stretch, and most recently, Richard Childress Racing. He also owned his own team, Kyle Busch Motorsports. A lot of the young drivers you see today got their start because Kyle gave them a truck to drive. And the nicknames? Rowdy, Wild Thing, the Candyman, Shrub, KFB. He had a name for every mood, and he wore them all proudly. Now, here is where it really hits home. The fans. The second the news broke, social media just stopped. Fans on X and Facebook could not believe what they were reading. One fan said what everyone was thinking. People don't just die at 41. What happened? That message was shared over and over. NASCAR even called the fans by name in their tribute. They mentioned the Rowdy Nation. That is what Kyle's fan base has called themselves for years. And Rowdy Nation showed up Thursday night in a big way. Fans started posting old pictures of meeting Kyle in the pits, autographs, family trips to the track where Kyle was the only reason they came. Some fans posted the Rowdy hand signal as a goodbye. Others shared clips of Kyle coaching his son Brexton at dirt tracks. Those clips are going viral right now, and they are breaking everyone's heart. At Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Kyle was supposed to race this Sunday, fans started showing up Thursday night. They left flowers. They left number 18 hats. They left number 8 shirts. Some just stood by the gates quietly. Same thing happened in Kansas City and a few other NASCAR towns. Fans went to local short tracks and sports bars just to be around other fans. And here is the thing a lot of fans are saying right now. Kyle was the guy you loved, or the guy you loved to hate. There was no in-between. One fan put it perfectly. I cheered against him for 20 years and I can't stop crying. That was the magic of Kyle Busch. Even if you booed him every Sunday, you needed him there. He made every race feel like it mattered. A lot of the fan tributes are not about racing at all. They are about his family, about Samantha, about Brexton, who is already racing himself and now has to grow up without his dad. About little Lennox, who is only 4 years old. Fans keep saying the same thing. The trophies are big, but the family is bigger. The drivers are hurting too, and some of their messages are going to stick with you for a long time. Denny Hamlin, who raced with Kyle as a teammate for years at Joe Gibbs Racing, posted this. Absolutely cannot comprehend this news. We just need to think of his family during this time. We love you, KB. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wrote, Kyle and I had a really challenging existence for many years, but we luckily took the time to figure out our differences. I will never be able to make sense of this loss, but I am thankful that we had found a way to become friends. Then came Jimmy Johnson. His tribute was long, and it was personal. He wrote, Kyle Busch wasn't just one of the fiercest competitors our sport has ever seen. He was one of the most talented race car drivers I've ever shared a track with. Rick Hendrick, he said, this is an incredibly painful shock for all of us and a heartbreaking loss for the NASCAR family. Kyle was one of the most talented drivers I've ever seen and a racer in the truest sense of the word. He had a fire and competitive spirit that drove him to be great. Kevin Harvick, he said, Kyle Busch and I spent years pushing each other to the limit. Like everyone else, Harvick ended his message thinking about Kyle's family. Brad Keselowski kept it short and real. Absolute shock, very hard to process, hug your loved ones. Carson Hocevar, one of the young stars of the sport and the 2024 Cup Series Rookie of the Year, wrote a tribute that hit different because he was once a little kid in the stands. He posted an old photo and said, This little boy in this picture hated you on Sundays. Bubba Wallace was also hit hard. People close to him said his eyes hurt from crying when the news came through. Shane Van Gisbergen, the New Zealand road course wizard who had been trading words with Kyle on the radio just weeks ago, is set to race a Spire Motorsports truck at Charlotte this weekend. The whole Trackhouse racing team paid tribute. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wrote a tribute that hit a lot of fans hard. He said, There aren't really words for today. I've raced against Kyle for a long time, and anyone who's lined up next to him knows exactly what made him special. He gave you everything he had, every single lap, and he made all of us better for it. Rest easy, Rowdy. The sport won't be the same without you. Clint Bowyer was clearly shaken. He wrote, I just talked to him Friday, in complete shock as we all are. The devastation and sadness is beyond words. Young driver Connor Zilisch, one of the rising stars Kyle had raced against just this season, added, at a loss for words, thinking and praying for the entire Busch family, Godspeed, my friend. So how will Kyle Busch be remembered? On the track, he will be remembered as one of the all-time greats. 2 championships, 63 Cup wins. The most wins ever across NASCAR's top 3 series. A future Hall of Famer, just like NASCAR said. He will be remembered as a team owner who gave young drivers a chance when nobody else would. A lot of the names you cheer for today owe him for that. And he will be remembered as a husband and a dad. Every driver tribute, every single one, ended at the same place. His family. Sunday's Coca-Cola 600 is going to feel very different now. The number 8 car will not be on the grid. The Rowdy hand signal will be everywhere. And NASCAR will say goodbye to one of the biggest personalities the sport has ever had. Rest easy, Rowdy.